It's the West Coast premiere of a beautiful movie that made a splash at Sundance, telling the story of generations and the people and places that shape us. Here to tell us more about All Dirt Road's Taste of Salt is the Director of Programming at SFFILM, Jessie Fairbanks. Jessie, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Olivia.
Yes, really excited to talk about the premiere of this film out here on the West Coast. And I know it's happening tonight.
It is.
Really exciting. But before we get into the details of that, let's first talk about the film specifically and maybe what can viewers expect when they come check out this film?
Absolutely. This is a debut feature from an award-winning poet, photographer, and filmmaker, Raven Jackson, who is a local here in the Bay Area. And it's just a stunningly powerful film. She debuted it at Sundance. It's been at San Sebastian, and now it is here in the Bay Area before going to New York Film Festival. The film explores 4 generations in the life of a young Black woman in the South, and it's incredibly lyrical, it's rich, it's beautiful, it's textured. Raven and her team have done something very new and fresh where they're pushing the form of narrative filmmaking, and we are beyond honored to be able to host the film for its 3rd screening here tonight at the Roxy as part of SFFILM Presents.
Amazing. So it's the 3rd screening, like you mentioned. And why were you guys so excited to be able to bring in this film and feature it this week?
Yes, we have been long believers in Raven's work. We were invested in and part of the origins and development of the film. Raven received 2 grants through SFFILM. We have an artist development program where we provide production funds and finishing funds and editing suites as well as labs to filmmakers who are making their 1st or 2nd film, and Raven participated in those through those 2 grants. So we have believed in the film from its inception. We've been talking with A24 about putting the film in front of Bay Area audiences since December. So tonight is really the fruition of a long journey, and we're just so honored to be a very small part in this incredible story that Raven has made.
Oh, that's so incredible as well. Just super helpful that you guys have provided those grants, the editing suites, all of those parts that play, like you said, a very large role in the success of a film. So now it's headed here to the West Coast. You guys have the premiere tonight. What can people expect from the premiere?
Yes, so tonight the film is executive produced by Academy Award-winning filmmaker Barry Jenkins. So both Barry and Raven will be with us in person at the Roxy. The film is tonight at 7. You can find out more information by going to sffilm.org. I will say that the film is at Rush, but we always release some tickets on site. So if you're watching this and you're interested, please come to the Roxy and do your best. We will be able to get some people in on the ground. It's a one-night only appearance, and we're incredibly honored that both Raven and Barry have made the time to come and talk about their collaboration in creating All Dirt Road's Taste of Salt.
And why was it so critical for SFFILM to be able to provide some of these grants and help start up this film that now we're seeing has so much success?
Yeah, so SFFILM is an organization that does year-round programming where we do public exhibition, which includes elements like tonight's screening, which is part of a series called SFFILM Presents. We have an international film festival, which is actually the oldest film festival in the country. We will be celebrating our 67th year this April in 2024. And in addition to all of the public exhibition work that we do, we also have an artist development program, which I mentioned, which hands out the grants and has a residency program and labs. We have an education program, which has been functioning for over 30 years and makes contact with over 15,000 public school students every year. So our organization is continually working in multiple different ways to be this kind of facilitator and intersection where audiences can engage with filmmakers that are incredibly established or are new and debuting. So the Rainin grant, which is one of the grants that Raven received, and the other support that Raven got, are a part of what we do across the board all year long with many different storytellers.
Wow, I just think that's so helpful and resourceful that you guys provide so many of these things to these artistic producers, directors, actors. And what's coming next for SFFILM? I know there's a lot of exciting events coming up in the future.
Thank you for asking. Yes, so SFFILM Presents kicked off at the beginning of this month. We had Roger Ross Williams here to do a screening of Cassandra, which is his newest film, and we were at the Castro. It was a huge night. 2 weeks ago, we had Chloe DeMont here with her feature debut, Fair Play, which is currently screening. Tonight we're doing Raven's film, All Dirt Road's Taste of Salt, and that's part of an ongoing film series that we will continue to announce events for. We also have some upcoming educational programs, and then we have our documentary showcase, which is our documentary film festival. We do this every November. It's in its 9th year, and the festival is the 2nd through the 5th of November. You can find out more information on sffilm.org. We don't announce until the 11th, so I can't really talk about the films, but suffice to say we are bringing some of the best and the brightest in documentary filmmaking to the Bay Area to show films that have not yet screened here in the Bay Area, that are fresh from Venice and Telluride, and that are really doing a lot to push the form of documentary filmmaking, and it's a really unique opportunity. So we're excited to move into that festival.
Well, we're excited that it's coming up here in November, and when it comes specifically to the SFFILM Presents, this series, what makes this series so unique or maybe stands out compared to other series you've done in the past?
That's a great question. We have obviously our International Film Festival, which is established and known for independent and international fare, and we have our documentary program, which I just mentioned, which very much looks at nonfiction filmmaking. And then we have the SFFILM Presents really provides us an opportunity to bring prestige titles, perhaps awards titles or international titles, and smaller independent fare that are not necessarily going to get theatrical runs that we think are so essential for the Bay Area film going audience to be able to see. And so it's a unique opportunity for us to really focus on narrative filmmaking that is pushing the bounds of what can be done within the medium, and to bring really exciting artists to the Bay Area to have in-depth conversations about their collaborative process, and to focus on some of the kind of award-centered titles as well. So we do something every single month, and we do it all fall, and we love it. And then we culminate our fall activities with our awards night, which is our annual fundraising gala, and that will be at the beginning of December. It is a gala where we celebrate and honor people for performing, directing, screenwriting, and kind of innovative breakthroughs. Last year we celebrated Margot Robbie for her role in Babylon. We celebrated Sarah Polley for her incredible script, Women Talking, which went on to win an Academy Award. We have a very long history of honoring giants in the industry as well as emerging talent. So that's our fundraiser on the 4th. And you can find out about all of this at sffilm.org.
So everyone make sure you go to the website to find that out. But Jessie, I'd love to leave them with a little bit of inspiration for anybody who's looking to get into the film industry, especially here in the Bay Area. Any words of advice?
That's such a great question. I think the Bay Area is such an exciting place to be right now as a young filmmaker. We have all of these graduate programs that are creating this pipeline of new storytellers or people who are focused on a certain discipline or craft, whether that's set making or lighting or cinematography, post-production, editing. And they're emerging into the Bay Area that actually has an incredible amount of vendors and filmmakers who are working in conjunction with, but somewhat outside of the bounds of traditional pipelines in the industry. And I think that that is lending itself to really fresh, innovative, and new stories being told. I would say there's an incredible amount of resources that are available. You can find some on our website. You can find a lot of information that's aggregated on graduate school program websites. And just get out there, start meeting other filmmakers, start going to screenings, start listening to conversations, start asking questions. There's so much room and in the film industry at the moment to tell your stories, and technology is continually creating new avenues for access and entry.
Yeah, well, we just absolutely love it, and we're super looking forward to everything happening in November as well. So Jessie, thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Of course.